LEGO Harry Potter Years 5 through 7 is a LEGO game that came out exactly 93 years after the end of World War I, where millions of men were killed in horrific conditions fighting for their country, so that over 100 years later, I could play LEGO games made for children. I'm a frog, ho ho ho, and today I'm gifting you all a video I've been requested to do non-stop. LEGO Lord of the Rings. LEGO Harry Potter Years 5 through 7 100% completed in under 24 hours. And just like when I did Years 1 through 4 a couple months ago, I've never played Years 5 through 7 before, so I'll have to figure things out as I go and still manage to complete it fast enough. Let's hop in. My journey began at the playground where a few genetically inferior non-wizards were riding a merry-go-round while Harry and his good genes were reading a newspaper until he started getting taunted by the muggles and told one to put his wand in his mouth. It suddenly got cloudy and rainy and the level began with me as Harry and Dudley needing to escape the playground. I started as always by gathering studs, which help fill the stud bar at the top of the screen. Filling it is called True Wizard, and I'll need to get True Wizard on all 24 levels. Dudley is a strong character, which means he can pull orange handles like this one, which destroyed the merry-go-round, revealing the first character token. There are 3 character tokens hidden in each level and more in the hub world. Obviously, I'll need to find them all. After breaking out of the playground, I was tasked with the first big challenge of the game, which was to stack blocks to make a staircase. Getting them perfect was one of the toughest things I had to do in this entire playthrough. Harry and Diddley went into a tunnel where we were faced with Dementors, one of the many types of foul, strange creatures we'll see in this game alongside giant snakes, zombies, and women. I did my best to hold them off by casting Expecto Patronum over and over until Dudley got cornered by the Norwood Reaper and Harry had to help him home. Harry woke up from a nightmare only to see an even more nightmarish cast of characters who give Harry a broom and we fly through London over the River Thames, although that clearly spells Thames, until Purple Hair Lady suddenly forgets how to fly and we all crash land. After spinning the next part of the level, rounding up the various characters, we make it out to the street where a secret hideout is revealed. Inside, we meet a bunch of people, including Ron and Hermione, who both have cool new teenager haircuts, while Harry is stuck with the same stupid one as the last game. Next, Harry and Arthur Weasley went to the Ministry of Magic. This is all still the first level. One thing this game seems to do more than any other LEGO game I played so far is rather than like, this is a Death Star level, this is a Droid Factory level, etc. The levels in this game usually, frog spotted, go through a few different areas and cover more ground from the movie. This went from playground to Dementor fight to flying to whatever this area is to the Ministry of Magic with a cutscene between each scene change.
There goes Frog complaining about the game.
I'm not complaining, I'm just describing the game. Speaking of cutscenes, Harry is put on trial for the crime of using magic in front of a muggle until Saul Goodmandor shows up and reveals Harry was protecting Dudley, and that the fake news media was trying to slander him. This proves Harry's innocence, and more importantly, finally concludes level 1. I didn't quite get True Wizard, but I did still get the first gold brick out of 200 total just for completing the level. I was now in Diagon Alley as Harry, Ron, and Hermione. Diagon Alley is one part of this game's hub world. Here there are stores where you can buy things, like this one lets you buy new spells, but I don't have any unlocked to purchase. In this same store, I also rescued a student in peril. There's one of these hidden in each level, and even more in the hub world for 60 total that I'll have to find and rescue. And in this store, you can also go full Billy Mitchell and enter cheat codes. The other store here, Madame Malkin's, is where I can buy new characters after I've unlocked their character tokens. I also encountered a wizard dancing in his underwear in front of our underage heroes, so this wizard can expect a visit from the wizard police to be put on the wizard sex offender registry. I went into the Leaky Cauldron where you're able to replay levels before making my way out to the streets of London and a brand new part of the hub that wasn't in years 1 through 4. While out here I saw an owl on a post, which I knew from my experience in years 1 through 4 meant that there was a red brick parcel hidden somewhere in this area. I didn't really worry about it for now though, because I figured I didn't have the means to find it wherever it was, so after exploring the street a bit, I went down to the train station where there was another owl and another easily rescuable student in peril, and I took a train to the magical land known as Northern Scotland. More specifically, Hogwarts. Except you don't go right to Hogwarts, you go to the Hogsmeade train station, which has its own collectibles, and there's a path to Hogwarts which contains more stuff as well as evil mushroom men, until I finally reached the entrance of Hogwarts and went inside. Dumbledore welcomed all the students and introduced the faculty, including Professor Umbridge, better known as Professor Evil F***ing I was now in the Gryffindor Commons as Harry and Ron, and we were free to explore. This game adds new areas to the hub like I showed, but the castle itself is mostly the same with a few minor differences here and there and a few extra hidden rooms from the last game taken out. We went into the Defense Against the Dark Arts class, where before lessons even began, we made a strength potion, which potion making works almost the same as in years 1 through 4, except they changed the button to add ingredients from B to A, which really threw me off because I'm stupid. Professor Umbridge showed up and banned students from doing any Defense Against the Dark Arts spells, which gives the game a clever reason to not let me use hardly any spells I'd already learned in the last game, and I continued through the familiar hallways until making it outside where I found another owl post. There were these blue and pink dots nearby that I couldn't interact with at the moment, but my guess was that would change in the near future. There's another story bit where Harry and Luna Lovegood have to feed skeleton horses. Just like the last game, this one has you do a lot of story-related things in the hub world that aren't actual levels, like this and the Defense Against the Dark Arts class. And along with this, I did my fair share of exploring, and this meant I passed the 1 hour mark, only having 1 out of 24 of the story levels done. So I knew I had to pick up the pace because me not doing this in under 24 hours would lead to chaos and mass rioting. Back in the Gryffindor dorms, Harry is talking to his fireplace, not beating the Hogwarts is actually a mental institution allegations, and the next level takes place in the snowy landscape outside of Hogsmeade as we round up students for Harry to start teaching Defense Against the Dark Arts magic to. After giving this guy a shovel, accidentally turning Ron into a duck and running around for a few minutes trying to find the last ingredient to make another strength potion, I gave flowers to Cho Chang and we went inside the Hogshead Inn to round up the last 3 students forming Dumbledore's army, completing a significantly shorter level than the first. We are so back. I went into the school cafeteria where I found the character token for Penelope Clearwater, the first Ravenclaw character, which I was happy to get out of the way after the catastrophe in my years 1 through 4 video. More importantly, I felt at home having a Ravenclaw character as I discovered during the making of this video that I'm a Ravenclaw. Wait.
Oh my god.
I followed the ghost of Yankee Jim down a passageway, which led me to a brand new part of the castle not seen in the last game. This corridor contains the rumor requirement, which I'm required to go inside to continue the story where Dumbledore's army gathers to practice magic, and I get introduced to the new dueling mechanic, where the ring on the ground behind the bad guy lights up a certain color, and you have to switch to that color, fire a spell at them, and win a wand off. You can also block attacks, but after this tutorial, I never worried about blocking again. After a couple years of practicing on Dobby, Harry kisses a girl for the first time, and I return to the Gryffindor Commons, after I lowered a few banners to collect a gold brick. Harry is a nightmare where he's unable to find a job with his computer science degree and has to work at Panda Express. Then Snape goes inside Harry's memories, triggering the start of level 3 with us at the playground from the first level. This level has Snape using the focus spell, where you can shoot clouds above NPCs with the spell and be shown their deepest desire. Like here it revealed that Dudley's fat ass wanted an entire cake. So this level just has us go through some other areas that I've already played and use the focus spell as Snape, until finally we go to the train station and use it on Nosferatu, completing the level. I had another lesson where we learned the spell Diffindo, which lets me slice up red objects, kind of like lightsaber slicing in LEGO Star Wars 3. I came across another owl on a post in this area and decided to stop for a second, look around, and see if I could find the parcel, and sure enough, I sliced open this tree and found my first red brick parcel for collect ghost studs. Ghost studs are the light blue studs on the ground that show me where to go next. I returned to Diagon Alley and bought this ASAP because every ghost stud is worth 1,000, so being able to now grab them becomes lucrative rather quickly. I also noticed the lock back here was red, so I sliced it in half with my new spell, letting me go to Nocturne Alley, another explorable part of the hub. I got my first Slytherin character, Slytherin Twin number 2, very creative name. Went inside this shop where I could buy gold bricks, found a free gold brick, and a thing I could build after completing all 24 levels. So I'll be back then. I went back to Hogwarts, collected a few things back on the path to the train station, then we boarded a train to go visit the Order of the Phoenix as they had a Merry Christmas, or Merry Chrysler if you're a Quirk-Chungus millennial. Except their house elf is evil and locks us in a room, and this is how level 4 begins. I found the token for Arthur Weasley by shooting red things on the wall, used Harry's invisibility cloak, an item any teenage boy would kill to have, and helped Sirius Black reassemble his family tree. Sirius is something called an amogus, which means he can turn into an animal, in his case a wolf. Sirius scoffs at a picture of Bellatrix Lestrange, indicates that she's crazy and unfixable, bet. Then we cut to said woman escaping from Azkaban, which is less than ideal. I followed the ghost to the room of requirement where all the students learned Expecto Patronum until Umbridge kicked down the door, spoiling their party, and it's revealed that Harry's new girlfriend is who ratted on them, which isn't what happens in the book, but let's ignore that part. Dumbledore tells Harry and his army to stand back and stand by, then gets carried away by his phoenix. I accidentally tossed a chick, and for the first time in this game, we visited Hagrid, who now has wrinkles. He takes the gang to meet a 12-meter titan that takes special interest in Hermione. How Hagrid still has a job at this point is nothing short of incredible. After spinning around in a teapot, I handed Snape a golf club and he yelled huzzah before stealing Harry's memories again, except Harry threw it back to him, and now we're in Snape's memories as James Potter and his crew who would all bully Snape, and this section ends with the duel. More importantly, Harry now knows the focus spell. As Fred and George, I went to yet another part of the castle where I'm introduced to the new Weasley box mechanic where members of the Weasley family can get special items out of these boxes. Harry gets a vision of White Dude McBadguy capturing Sirius, and finally the next actual level starts in Umbridge's office as we manipulate her paintings to let her catwalk through them. room. She finds out about this and is not happy, so Hermione devises a plan to take her out to the woods and murder her. We lead Hagrid's giant buddy over to her, but rather than crush her between his thumb and forefinger, he punts her over to the centaur so they can deliver a bit of horse justice. We went to the Ministry of Magic to start the final level of this movie. I idled for a minute to argue with strangers on the internet about Die Hard being a Christmas movie before clearing the first area by making a green explosive potion. The final fight of the level is Harry and Dumbledore versus Voldemort, but I will not be explaining the plot details that led us to this point because I think that's kind of a funny jump. And all you nerds probably know what happened anyway. Voldemort tries to steal Harry's nose, but using what Snape taught him with the focus spell, he fights Pazuzu off, and nearly 3.5 hours into the game, I was finally done with just the first movie. My God, my percentage was at 10.9%. Next up is Half-Blood Prince. I read all the Harry Potter books as a kid, and as you can probably tell, I don't remember that much, but I had never even watched this movie before until like a week ago. So after watching it for the first time, I rate it a blue frog. This first level is all about Gandalf and Harry infiltrating a Muggle neighborhood, committing B&D, and discovering that a chair wearing a suit and graduation cap is actually Professor Slughorn. After a cutscene of bad people doing bad things, the level ends with us in Fred and George's toy store, and another example of this game's levels jumping from one completely different scene to another. Back on the streets of London, I decided to check if there was anything new I could interact with that I couldn't before, or maybe I just missed something, and the answer was yes. I found my second red brick parcel, this one for the gold brick detector, which adds markers for gold brick locations throughout the hub world. Down in the train station, I can now destroy this red thing on the wall using Diffindo, which gave me yet another parcel, this one for score times 4. That just makes it so every stud I pick up has 4 times the value. Luna Lovegood wears X-ray goggles, which are actually a new ability. There are dispensers around the map and in levels that let you put them on, and with them you can reveal hidden bricks to build in spots with blue and pink dots. Now back at Hogwarts, I was exploring the castle even more and collecting stuff like nobody's business, including yours. Why are you watching me? I played a flashback part as young Dumbledore where he meets baby wizard Hitler and didn't kill him before finally making it to my ultimate objective, the blue and pink dots from earlier by the owl that I can now deal with. And sure enough, after building a secret stone, I was given a parcel, this one for Fast Dig, whose function you can probably figure out. Unless you're stupid. There was a new hub area I hadn't gone to yet, first starting with this snowy path where I grabbed another character token. This led me to Hogsmeade, which has more stuff to collect, and the start of level 2. We went into a lounge where Slugworth wanted to get drunk with students, so my first task was to give him a pint of butterbeer. More importantly, with my new stud multiplier, I true wizarded this level pretty much immediately. 16-year-old Harry and 15-year-old Ginny flirt, the teacher gets jealous, and the level has 2 more phases, 1 preparing for a party by cleaning dishes, and 2 having the party. Easy enough. I learned a new spell called Agua Minty that let me shoot water out of my wand, and having the spell meant I could now open the gate to the library. After fighting off Flood, I put a few yellow books on book carts to get myself another gold brick. After running around Hogwarts for another couple minutes to get more stuff, I began the 3rd level at the Weasley household where Professor Lupin is trying hard not to turn into a furry, and Ginny is giving Harry hint after hint that he doesn't pick up on, he's just like me for real, until suddenly Helena Bonham Carter shows up and sets the property on fire. Harry and Ginny chase her into the field because they're stupid, and the remainder of the level is about the rest of the gang trying to put out fires and catch up to them before engaging in a final battle at the end where Lupin fucking dies. Next up, I learned Reducto, a very important spell for exploration and collecting because it lets me destroy silver objects. I spent the next 15 minutes or so grabbing more character tokens and gold bricks, capped off by me using Reducto to find a red brick parcel in the room of requirement hallway that turned out to be for Stud Magnet. Continuing on, Ron eats a love potion, and level 4 is about first making a cure for the love potion, then fighting Malfoy in the bathroom, and concluding by navigating through Dumbledore's hoarding closet. I was now at 68 gold bricks out of 200. At this point, I felt like I'd had my fill of exploring, and I just wanted to get through the last 2 Half-Blood Prince levels. The first of these, level 5, is simple enough with Harry and Slughorn battling an evil plant, then going to the woods to extract spider juice from Hagrid's dead spider. After riding around on a sea dragon to collect a gold brick, Dumbledore told Harry about horcruxes, and they teleport to a stormy water cave to begin the final level of Half-Blood Prince at just about the 6-hour mark. I haven't even mentioned House Crest yet, the reason being I found almost none during my story playthroughs, but here I got one. There's 4 hidden in each level, 1 for each Hogwarts house, and obviously I'll need to find them all. I played a game of Simon with a few X's on the ground, giving Harry and Dumbledore a paddle boat, which we took to this slice of land in the cave where Dumbledore had to drink from a cup a few times while I held off a horde of the undead. Back at Hogwarts, all the bad guys come out of the closet, Snape casts spoilerous warning us on Dumbledore, and the level ends with Harry and Ginny going through the burning Hogwarts grounds and dueling Snape, who reveals that he was the Bay Harbor Butcher. I was now through 24.7% of the game, which is really good progress for only having 2 movies worth of levels done. Because this game is only 3 years, 5, 6, and 7, you may think I only have 1 set of levels left.
Wrong!
Like the movies, Deathly Hallows is split into 2 parts with 6 levels each, starting with this one where we brew a potion and the anti-Voldemort squad as a Harry Potter lookalike contest. Then after fixing Hagrid's chopped motorcycle, we have a car chase, and Harry, Ron, and Hermione gather up in this room where I was stuck for a couple minutes and had no idea what to do. It was kind of explained in the prior cutscene, but not really, and either way I wasn't paying attention at all because I have Zoomer brain. So I walked in circles for a couple minutes, switching between characters. You either die a hero or live long enough to see yourself become a gaming journalist. Eventually, I noticed Ron's new ability where he can take light from one lamp and bring it over to another with the Deluminator. Hermione also has a new ability to use pink plates on the floor. Back in the London part of the hub, we got into a battle in a diner, then Harry and Ron infiltrated the Ministry of Magic in middle-aged man disguises to start level 2. This level was simple enough, although it did take me a few minutes. There's a few rooms you do classic Lego stuff in. We went into Umbridge's office, and the level concludes with a fight against Umbridge where she throws stuff at you and you have to throw it back. Once I got her down to 1 heart, she threw out this other guy to have a duel with me, and after beating him, I figured I'd fight Umbridge next, but instead, nothing happened. He just stood in place and Umbridge didn't do anything. It wouldn't be a Frog Arcus Lego video without glitches. So I reloaded the level and did everything over again, which took me a few more minutes. And this time, after defeating the blonde guy in a duel, he ran away and the fight ended with a duel against Umbridge herself. Then we got chased by Dementors. Back in the hub, we were now in an entirely new area, the campsite, where there really wasn't anything I could do except start the next level, where I went around as Harry and Weird Name looking at gravestones before going into a creepy house and fighting a giant snake. I ran over a deer, then chased its ghost through the hub world to get its insurance information before swimming underwater as Harry and Ron and battling a giant Voldemort monster to complete level 4. Hermione assaults Ron, and I took a minute to explore these new areas of the hub and try to find more collectibles, which I did, but there wasn't anything I grabbed of note. Everything contributes towards 100% though. It was time to go to the Lovegood household to begin the penultimate mission of the penultimate movie. This time I will be a complaining Cameron. This was definitely my least favorite level in the game. After some puzzling inside the house, Mr. Lovegood tells us a story of the 3 brothers, which I then play as in this side-scrolling section that's maybe cool on paper, but overly long and boring in reality. I'm allowed to have opinions! The level doesn't even end there, though. I then have to do more puzzling and brew a potion, then we see that Mr. Lovegood has gone completely insane and dressed up as his teenage daughter. At least I'm done. The 6th level, part 1 of the 7th book, has a gang captured by bad guys and thrown into jail, where we find Luna, Griphook, and the guy from Pirates of the Caribbean. We don't have our wands, but using our wits and guile, we of course break out of jail before having even more wand duels. With the help of Dobby the house elf, the gang teleports away and everyone is safe except for Dobby, who's sliced in half. And people say these games are for children. With 1 movie left in the story, I'm at 36%. Gentlemen and ladies, we're on the home stretch of the story. I still got more collecting to do. Harry gives Gollum a piggyback ride, Hermione turns into a Deftones girl, Ron turns into how I look with a mustache, and we take a visit to Gringotts Bank to audit their gold reserves. It starts with a roller coaster ride where I have to turn red lights to green, then we fall out of the cart but narrowly avoid turning into red paste and proceed on foot into the Lestrange family vault, which is Lestrange for sure. I'm recording this at 2 a.m. I have nothing. We went into this room where all the gold and silver cups continuously multiply like gremlins in a swimming pool until Hermione climbs up them to grab a horcrux and we narrowly escape before getting suffocated by goblets. After riding around on a dragon and killing minimum wage bank employees, we flew out of the bank and level 1 of the final chapter was done. A cutscene plays where Voldemort gives a face that would be great for a YouTube thumbnail, and we were back at the campsite where yet again there wasn't really anything to do in the hub world other than find the start of the next level. I did grab 1 character token though for Dragomir Despard. Level 2 takes us back to Hogsmeade where the Grand Wizards were in the streets wreaking havoc, and it was our job as Harry, Ron, and Hermione to fight them off. An elderly man invites us inside to eat popsicles, and once inside he reveals a secret passageway to Hogwarts built into his home. For the first time in a couple hours, I was back in the Hogwarts castle where our first task was to simply wake people up because it's not like we're fighting a wizard civil war or anything. I had a duel with Alan Rickman that a big floaty Voldemort head said howdy do, and level 2 was done. More importantly, now that I could roam Hogwarts again, I remembered the owl post by the entrance to the school had a pink panel on the ground which I could now activate using Hermione, and this is what gave me the red brick parcel, which was for score times 8. This combines with score times 4, so after buying and enabling score times 8, 1 second. Okay, I now had a 32 times multiplier in total. We are so back. On the path to Hogsmeade, I found a parcel encased in ice, but Ron said fuck ice and melted it, letting me grab the parcel and deliver it to unlock score times 6. Hyperion was firing shots at Sanctuary, but thankfully we were shielded. Luna and Harry run off to do more horcrux stuff, and this was the fastest true wizard I've had so far. After navigating the halls a bit, I found the ghost of Helena Ravenclaw, who growled even though I'm one of them. The game cut for a second to Neville and Seamus, where we place explosives on the bridge while Ron and Hermione take a trip down to the Chamber's secrets. I haven't read the book or seen the movie in like 12 years, which came back to bite me here because I found a parcel tongue panel and was like, well, only Harry or Voldemort or someone can activate those. So I thought this was like for free play or there was some other thing I had to do to advance, especially after I tried using the panel as Hermione to no avail. But after a couple more minutes, I tried it as Ron and he was able to use the panel. Afterwards, I read on the internet that in the movie/book, he just mimicked Harry speaking snake, but I had literally no memory of that. Nonetheless, they destroy the horcrux, the bridge gets blown up, and I have 3 levels left. And I didn't waste time starting the next one, which takes place in the Room of Requirement as we search for another horcrux. Problem is, the Slytherin boys show up and start a giant fire, so the second half of this level is dealing with that. We get brooms and fly around, and while looking for part of the objective, I got on this stack of stuff and built a bed, which I could jump on and get the character token for none other than Tom Riddle, who's a dark magic user, which was one of the last two things for free play collecting I still needed. So this was huge, and I couldn't believe that I just stumbled onto him like that. I bought him immediately after finishing the level, and it was time for me to go around Hogwarts and use all the dark magic spots that I had seen around and couldn't do anything with before now. First into the Great Hall was a parcel for character studs. Then I got the Hogwarts crest detector, which highlights all the house crests in the levels, making finding them all way easier. I routed up some character tokens. There were still a lot of these around that I was missing. I didn't get absolutely everything at the Hogwarts castle, but this was the first time in any of these LEGO videos that I had the majority of the collecting done before even finishing the story. The only type of character I was missing was one with a key, but everything else I was able to get if I could find. Some things I still looked past and missed or whatever. So now past the 10-hour mark with the majority of the stuff in the hub collected, I figured it was a good time to start the second to last level where we learn Voldemort is now inside the castle, which is less than ideal. And this level is just about battling at Hogwarts because there are bad guys everywhere. Simple enough. Snape gets eaten by a snake, and the end of the level had Harry trying to find a bucket to catch Snape's tears. Really not beating those allegations. One more left! We watched Snape's memories where he gets cucked by Harry's dad. In the hub world, I quickly flew around the Quidditch field on an on-the-rails section because there's a few more things I could grab here. I then started the final level where Harry gets Avada Kedavra'd by Voldemort and rides a soul train, woo-woo, to the afterlife where he meets Dumbledore, then decides to come back to life in time for the final battle. And the level has officially now begun with me digging as Hermione's cat. Funny thing, I had a red brick active that gave everyone super strength, so as Ron's mom, I was able to pull an orange handle to get goggles and get a house crest that you're probably not supposed to be able to get playing story mode. I then had a duel with Bellatrix Lestrange, and after losing, she fucking died. The B team cut off Voldemort's snake's head, and the level concluded with a multi-stage duel against Voldemort. More importantly, between one of these stages, I found his character token. I didn't really need it since I already had Tom Riddle, but Voldemort looks cooler. Voldemort remembers that he is dust, and to dust he shall return. Level complete, story complete. I was at 58%, which you may think that's low, but like I said, I had most of the hub done at this point. What I was still missing was almost everything from the story levels in free play. Speaking of the hub, a really nice quality of life thing is that in every area in this game after completing the story, it literally tells you what you've collected in that area and what you're still missing. So like here, I had the gold brick and 1 out of 2 character tokens. I went ahead and bought every spell, cause why not? I now had the character token detector, so that would make finishing my collecting even easier. The character token I was missing out here, by the way, was Gregorovitch. I'm not gonna go through me picking up everything else. I had markers for everything except the students in peril, which themselves weren't that hard to find. So for the most part, this is all just me walking around the map and grabbing things that were literally marked for me. One thing about this hub world I will say, it is much easier to navigate than years 1 through 4. I didn't have a problem with getting lost or there being a million hidden rooms I had to find. This hub world felt more streamlined, even with the new areas. So completing everything in the hub was definitely easier, I think, than years 1 through 4. At about the 12-hour mark, I went to the Nocturne Alley shop, where now with having all 24 levels done, I could play the bonus level, which is just one of those classic Lego City destroy stuff and collect a million studs levels. This one was kind of tricky. It took me like 40 minutes. I still didn't have absolutely everything in the hub, but I thought it was time to move to free play to get all the house crests and character tokens and the story levels. And again, this was made super easy with me now having markers for everything, but nonetheless, having to basically play through each mission again was a giant time sink and not very fun. I'm not sure why though, but this seemed to drag for me more than some of the other Lego games. I'm not gonna go into detail about me doing this. I went through the levels and grabbed stuff. There really isn't anything of note to talk about. So fast forwarding to just under 18 hours in, I bought the last of the character tokens and collected my 200th gold brick to give me the 100%. That was definitely made easier by me having played years 1 through 4 first and having familiarity with the Harry Potter mechanics. Otherwise, I think that would have taken me longer than years 1 through 4 at least, probably over 20 hours. But as it stands, only about 18 hours. And I probably prefer years 1 through 4 to this game, but at least this one didn't give me any game-breaking bugs. Ribbit. If you like this video, check out some of my other Lego 100% videos, because I got a lot of them. Shout out to my patrons like always, and go Ravenclaws, caca.